Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. So according to ESPN, Tottenham are interested in signing Jesse Lingard, but only if they can sell Dele Alli. Now Rob Dawson has come out and said that Jose Mourinho is keen on reuniting with Jesse Lingard. Now it says that Tottenham are preparing to put around a £30 million bid in for the player. And that's actually good news from Manchester United perspective. It'd be very, very good to get £30 million for Jesse Lingard. Jesse Lingard is one of the players we are looking to sell in this summer transfer window. And negotiations have begun between Lingard and Tottenham. I think it also mentions that Zenit St Petersburg are interested. Now, as it stands at the moment, Lingard's just got under a year left on his Manchester United contract, but the club do have an option to extend it for a further year. I think we saw the best of Jesse Lingard under Jose Mourinho because he scored 13 goals in 48 appearances. I think Solsjaer actually wants Jesse Lingard to stay at the football club. Lingard has been part of the club for several years. I think he has been at Manchester United since 2000. So in total, he's been at the club for 20 years. And I think he's been in our senior squad since 2011. And in total, he has made around 133 appearances in the Premier League. Don't forget, he had a period where he didn't score one goal in the Premier League for over a year. So we are looking to get rid of the player. So will he continue playing his trade in the Premier League, or will Lingard go abroad? I think Lingard's won quite a few trophies at Manchester United. He's obviously won the FA Cup with us. He's won the Europa League with us. He's won the Community Shield with us. And he's also won the League Cup with us. And I think he has scored in quite a few finals for us. So that is the breaking news on Jesse Lingard. Now, I want to delve into some news on Alex Telles from Porto. So Alex Telles is not distracted by reports linking him with a move to Manchester United. Porto have said they cannot assure that he will remain at Porto. Now, Mohamed Bouafsi from RMC Sport recently said that Alex Telles has agreed personal terms with Man United, and it said he has agreed a 5-year contract with the football club. We have not yet put a bid in for the player. Porto do want around 18 million or just over 18 million pounds for him. It did recently say we are not willing to meet Porto's asking price, and Porto have actually lowered their valuation because before they wanted in the 20 odd million pound range. Alex Telles has got around 10 months left on his current contract with Porto. So obviously from a Porto perspective, they'll want to cash in for him in this summer transfer window rather than letting go on a free next year. I think Telles has said that he wants around £88,000 a week if he is to sign a new contract with Porto. But he has been at Porto now for quite a few years. I think he's enjoyed 4 years with them. I think he's contributed around 65 goals in 143 games. Before he was at Porto, he had a loan spell at Inter Milan. Before he was at Inter Milan, he was at Galatasaray. When he was younger, he played for Grêmio, and before that, he played for Juventude when he was a lot younger. And he is now the age of 27, and he is predominantly a left-back. And Manchester United are obviously in search for a left-back because it's beneficial if we get a left-back in. We've obviously got 2 predominant left-backs in the team at the moment, and that's obviously Luke Shaw, he's our first-choice left-back, and Brandon Williams, he's our backup left-back. We're looking at Alex Telles now because obviously we've just missed out on Sergio Reguilon. I think Alex Telles has got around the 37 million release clause with Porto. So that is the latest on all of the transfer news. Now, Is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer good enough for Manchester United? I don't really have a perception on him at the moment. I think it's too early to say whether he's good enough or not, because only one game's gone. You know, we did recently lose to Crystal Palace by 3-1. Obviously, that was the first time in Crystal Palace's history that they'd won their first 2 games in the top flight. And also, it's the second season in a row in the Premier League that Crystal Palace have beaten us at Old Trafford. And Solskjaer's decision making is really, really poor, and this is something he's got to improve on. You know, and against Crystal Palace, you know, why didn't he start Greenwood? Instead, he started James. You know, why didn't he start Donny van der Beek from the start? It was still good to see him score on his Premier League debut for the club. Why didn't he start Wan-Bissaka? Instead of Wan-Bissaka, he started Fosu-Mensah. You know, he obviously, put David De Gea in goal. But if this is to continue, and more bad results are to come, then I think a lot more Manchester United fans will be demanding Solskjaer out, and they will also be criticising him. And I think Solskjaer is partly to blame for our inconsistency, but I think the vast majority of the blame stems from the board. Main explanations is because they're not backing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer enough, and I think Solskjaer deserves to be backed more in this summer transfer window. Obviously, Woodward and the Glazers aren't spending any money. Our recruitment policy has been poor for several years. We've also made a lot of mistakes in the last 7 years, and that's one of the main explanations why we've been so inconsistent. In the last 7 years, we have spent close to the £1 billion range on players, and we've recruited over 30 odd players since the Ferguson era, but a lot of the players we have recruited in the last 7 years have not been the right calibre players for Manchester United. The managers that we've had since Ferguson retired haven't been backed enough. And we've overpaid for players in recent years. Woodward's been at the football club since 2012, and the Glazers have been at the football club since 2005. And like I said to this season is big for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and also to Manchester United, because this is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's second full season at the football club. And I said to you on one of my videos recently, didn't I, what will represent a good season for Manchester United, and that's obviously winning a trophy, because we've not yet won out in terms of silverware under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era, and we haven't won a trophy for over 3 years. And also finishing in the top 2 or the top 3 would represent a good season, but that's probably not going to happen if we continue playing like we did, against Crystal Palace. So it's very imperative that Manchester United do get back to winning ways. Obviously, it's Luton next in the Cup. The preview should be coming up for that tomorrow. Then obviously our next league game is away. Is it away to Brighton? I think it is. But, we've got Arsenal coming up soon, we've got Tottenham coming up, we've got Chelsea coming up, and we've also got Everton coming up. And they're all going to be very tough games for Man United. But I said this season, Solskjaer has got to exceed his expectations if he's to remain in the Manchester United job. Now, I've actually been hearing stories today. This is stemming from Tony Carrasco, former Chelsea player. He said that Manchester United should go in for Marcelo Bielsa from Leeds. Bielsa's just recently extended his contract with Leeds. I think he will stay at Leeds for another season, to be honest with you. Obviously, there's people urging us to go in for Mauricio Pochettino. Don't forget, Mauricio Pochettino was linked with a managerial role at Man United. And he's been linked with a managerial role for a while. Don't forget, who was in for Pochettino before Solskjaer got the job permanently in March last year. But I'm hopeful that, the first part of this season, we don't replicate what we did at the first part of last season, because at the first part of last season, we enjoyed our worst start ever to a Premier League season. And there was obviously, talks of Pochettino coming in and Massimiliano Allegri coming in at that point. But after we had that bad start, all of a sudden, Manchester United turned things around. But, Solskjaer has been at Manchester United now over a year and a half. Don't get me wrong, I've taken positives from his tenure. Like I said, the players that he's brought in so far have been alright. Solskjaer has spent over £200 million so far at Manchester United. Last summer he brought Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire in. And in January he brought Bruno Fernandes and Odion Ighalo in. He obviously brought Odion Ighalo on loan. And we recently brought Donny van de Beek in. He's also brought a few academy players in to the football club. And Solskjaer's also got rid of a lot of the deadwood since he got recommended into Manchester United. We've seen players like Sanchez leave, Lukaku, Ander Herrera, Marian Fellaini, Matteo Darmian, Ashley Young, Antonio Valencia, Angel Gomez. We've also loaned a few young players out. We loaned Tahith Chong out. We also loaned Dylan Levitt out. And we also have loaned James Garner, I think, to Watford, and we loaned Joe Pereira out for another season. And I do like the way that Solskjaer has promoted the youth, because since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer took over the reins at Manchester United in December 2018, he's had a habit of developing young homegrown talents. And there's a lot of good young players that are coming through at Manchester United, and Solskjaer recently set a challenge for our academy players to replicate the likes of Mason Greenwood and Brandon Williams and others. But we've got the likes of Ethan Laird. He recently got promoted into the senior squad. We've got Ethan Galbraith, he recently got promoted into the senior squad. Hannibal Mejbrai, he recently got promoted into the senior squad. So a lot of good young players coming through. And I think, there was a lot of players that improved for Manchester United last season. But obviously they've got to take this into this season now. I said the players that have improved. I said, Anthony Martial has really, really improved under Solskjaer. Obviously, looked very, very isolated against Crystal Palace recently. But last season he was very, very good. I think so far Martial has enjoyed 2 good years at Manchester United. Did well last season under Solskjaer, like I mentioned, and did very, very well in his debut season under the Louis van Gaal era. We paid £36 million for Anthony Martial from Monaco back in 2015. And obviously now he is our number 9. Got to make an admission, Marcus Rashford's really, really improved. He weren't so good against Palace, but he was good last season. Don't forget he was out for a few months with that back injury, was Rashford. He also recently recovered from an ankle injury. He missed both of England's games due to this ankle injury. But Rashford's been part of the club for several years, and he obviously came up our youth setup. Rashford's been I think, now around 15 years. He obviously does play on that left-hand side. Greenwood, I was very happy with him last season. I hope he can continue his consistency this season. We've had a few issues with Mason Greenwood recently, like I said. Solskjaer recently said he was infuriated with the FA and Gareth Southgate for the handling of Greenwood, saying that Greenwood should have been rested. Don't forget, we recently gave Mason Greenwood a number 11. He's the 4th Manchester United player to wear the number 11 shirt. Brandon Williams, I was also very, very impressed with him last season. He played a lot of games last season, did Brandon Williams. Made his senior debut against Rochdale in the FL Cup and made his first start in the Premier League against Brighton last season. We did recently give Brandon Williams a number 33 shirt. He's, I think, the first Manchester United player to wear the number 33 since Paddy McNair. And he recently signed a 4-year contract with Manchester United, did Brandon Williams. I've also got to say that Fred has improved under the Solskjaer era. Fred's obviously found game time difficult at Manchester United since the arrival of Bruno Fernandes. But I thought it was very, very good last season. Fred has enjoyed a few years at the football club. We obviously got him for £52 million from Shakhtar Donetsk back in the summer of 2018. It was obviously in Jose Mourinho's final transfer window. There was a speculation of him leaving a few weeks ago. Galatasaray were in for him, so too were Roma. But Fred came out and told 442 that he wants to stay at Man United. And that's his desire, and he doesn't want to leave the club, and he wants to be an essential player for the club and win trophies. At Tottenham, I think he's done well under Solsjaer. Well, last season he did well. Weren't so good against Crystal Palace though recently. Like I said, he was very, very poor in possession. Don't forget McTominay did have an ankle injury last season. Not so long ago, McTominay signed a 5-year deal with Man United, and he's been part of the club for several years. I think he's now our first choice holding midfielder. Nemanja Matic, I've also got to say, he's really, really improved. Matic didn't play no part against Crystal Palace. Matic has endured like 3 years at the football club. Obviously, we got him in a deal worth £40 million from Chelsea back in 2017. Paul Pogba, he was very, very good towards the end of last season. He weren't so good against Crystal Palace, like I mentioned. Weren't the worst player. Like I said, he had some good chances from outside the box, but I just think he was too easily dispossessed, was Paul Pogba. But his combination with Bruno Fernandes towards the end of last season was very, very good. But for the vast majority of last season, didn't really have a perception on Pogba because he was out with that ankle injury. Pogba has sustained a few injuries as a Manchester United player. This season is obviously his 5th season at the club since he rejoined from Juventus back in 2016. We did pay £89 million for Pogba, so as it stands at the moment, he is our most expensive signing. But I think what we've got to do is, we've got to get Paul Pogba a new long-term contract at the club to end the uncertainty over his future. And Paul Pogba's agent, Mino Raiola, a few weeks ago said that, Paul Pogba will stay at Man United and he will hold talks over a new contract. Fabrizio Romano came out and said that Paul Pogba is happy. He said Paul Pogba is happy and he wants to stay at the football club. Now, as it stands at the moment, Pogba's just got under a year left on his Man United contract, but the club do have an option to extend it for a further year. I think Donny van de Beek so far has also done well. He's done well in his first 2 games. Did well in the 1-0 defeat to Aston Villa in pre-season. Did well yesterday when he came off the bench against Crystal Palace. It was good to see him score on his Premier League debut. We got Donny van de Beek in a deal worth £40 million. Obviously, Donny van de Beek signed a 5-year contract with Manchester United to obviously keep at the club till 2025, and there's also an option of a further year. We know that he's obviously wearing the number 34 shirt. Luke Shaw, he did really, really well last season. The first part of last season he was out with that injury. He sustained an ankle injury towards the end of last season, so Luke Shaw's just come back. He weren't good though against Crystal Palace yesterday. Lots of attacking intent, and definitely was accountable for the first goal from Andros Townsend. Victor Lindelof, I've got a lot of element of concerns about him. He obviously was the one that gave the penalty away yesterday. He also was accountable for Palace's first goal and their third goal. I don't think Lindelof's good enough for Manchester United, so we do need someone to go alongside Harry Maguire in our back line. So yeah, these definitely players that have improved under Solskjaer, but they've got to continue this improvement this season. And Solskjaer said, our players have got to improve. But, this summer transfer window is Solskjaer's 4th transfer window as Manchester United manager. And another one of my element of concerns is that, there's teams around us that are doing very, very good recruitment. You've got Chelsea, by far, they've done the best business so far. Everton, they've made signings. City, they've made a few signings. Liverpool, they've made quite a few signings. Arsenal, they've made a few signings. Even Leeds United, they've made a few signings. And we're missing out on a lot of our targets. We've missed out on Sergio Reguilon. We missed out on Gareth Bale. He's gone back to Tottenham on loan. We missed out on Erling Haaland in January, and I said that was a shame because he would have been an Ole Gunnar Solskjaer type signing. We missed out on Jude Bellingham. We missed out on Jack Grealish because he recently signed a 5-year deal with Aston Villa. So these are a lot of players we've missed out on under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. But there again, we've missed out on players over the years who we should have signed. There was players we missed out on under the Sir Alex Ferguson era. Alan Shearer, missed out on him under Ferguson. I think we also missed out on Aaron Ramsey under Ferguson because we tried to get him in 2008. There was some players under the David Moyes era we missed out on. We tried to get Thiago under the Moyes era. I think we tried to get Toni Kroos under the Moyes era. I think also too we tried to get Cesc Fabregas under the Moyes era. Obviously under the Jose Mourinho era, there was players that wanted to sign but obviously never got them. So there you go. But Solskjaer's publicly admitted that Manchester United have got to spend money in this summer transfer window if we are to be up there competing with the likes of City, Liverpool, and now perhaps Chelsea. But I think Manchester United are at least 3 years off, maybe 4 years off, maybe even 5 years off winning the title. I think for us to mount any title challenge up this season, we have got to make at least 2 signings. And we haven't mounted any title challenge up in the last 7 years. And obviously we haven't won the Premier League since 2013. So the last time we won it was in Sir Alex Ferguson's last season. We are the most successful team in Premier League history because we have won 20 titles and 13 of them are Premier Leagues. But is it just under 3 weeks left now until the summer transfer window shuts? And we've only made 1 signing. So this is really, really bad business. And there's still a few things Man United have got to do. We can't only focus on the incomings. We've also got to focus on the outgoings as well. Because obviously we're looking to get rid of players in this summer transfer window. But it's very imperative we get rid of players because we'll generate money and it will help us with our rebuilding process. And quite frankly, there is still deadwood at the football club. Like I said, Lingard needs to go, Pereira needs to go, Smalling, Rojo, Jones needs to go, also Delors needs to go. Sergio Romero's open to leaving the football club. Sergio Romero's not going to want to stay at Man United as third choice goalkeeper because he is third choice now because Dean Henderson recently returned. You know what I mean? And I said, didn't I? I think Solskjaer needs to put Dean Henderson as number 1 this season. Like I said earlier on today, I think, Dean Henderson is now reliable enough to become our number 1 goalkeeper because he has got that experience behind him because he recently enjoyed 2 successful loans with Sheffield United. And we got Dean Henderson at just the age of 14, so he has been part of the club for several years. But I think David De Gea is going to remain our number 1 for this season. Well, at least for the first part of this season. This season is David De Gea's 10th season at Manchester United. But I think, we have got a lot of good players, but there's still key areas where Manchester United are lacking. We need a centre-half, we need a left-back, and we also need a right winger. But you can see that Solskjaer is trying to change the culture of the club, and he's obviously, trying to improve the squad. And like I've said on my recent videos, he's in a similar situation to what Jose Mourinho was in. Because Jose Mourinho made it clear to our board in the summer of 2018 that he wanted to recommend the centre-half in. Obviously never got that centre-half in, did he? And didn't get the players that he wanted to recommend in, but Mourinho did actually recommend 11 players in to Manchester United. But, in the last 7 years we've been playing catch-up. We've been so inconsistent since Alex Ferguson retired. Since he retired, we've had different managers with different philosophies. Obviously, we sacked Moyes, Louis van Gaal and Jose Mourinho. We've only won 3 trophies since Ferguson's retirement, and that was the FA Cup under Van Gaal and the Europa League and the League Cup under Jose Mourinho. So that just proves how inconsistent we have been. But like I said to you before, the vast majority of our success came under Sir Alex Ferguson because we won a total of 38 major honours under Ferguson. And he enjoyed 20 odd years at Man United, but he didn't settle in straight away because he didn't win out in his first 4 years at the club. But I think it's going to be hard for any manager at Manchester United to replicate Ferguson's legacy or to last as long as Alex Ferguson did. But like I said, we've still got to give Solsjaer a bit more time because, like I said, when he first came into the club, he was inheriting a squad that was worth 700 odd million pounds. This is obviously before Solskjaer had made signings. And I said it's a transition period at Man United, and it has been a transition period for a while. Solskjaer hasn't got a fantastic pedigree behind him, has he? Let's be honest. He's not like a Jurgen Klopp at Liverpool or the Pep Guardiola from Man City. And there's some Man United fans that think we've got to get a manager in with a proven pedigree and all of that. Man United is the third club in his managerial career. Obviously, before he was us, he was at Molde, won a few Norwegian titles with them. Before he was at Molde, he was at Cardiff, and he enjoyed a very, very short tenure with Cardiff. The main explanation he got sacked from Cardiff is because he ended up getting Cardiff relegated and all of that. But yeah, with our inconsistency, I think everyone's got to take the blame, like I've mentioned, but the vast majority of the blame is definitely the board because they're not spending any money at the football club. They're really, really not. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of United fans that are protesting the Glazers out now anyway, don't forget. But yeah, we've got to get back to winning ways because if we don't, then I think the pressure will mount up even more on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So yeah. So anyway, guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.